Hello everyone, I'm Brian Croydragon and welcome to the last Truth or Scare commentary. That's it. That's right. We made it. The last one. Roswell and Area 51. Not sure if I remember this one, but let's give it a watch.
Late at night, when you can't sleep, have you ever looked up at the sky and wondered? Are we alone in the universe? In 1947, some people thought that they'd found out the answer. And it told us aliens might be right here. Could flying saucers full of real live aliens have actually crashed into the Earth? Are they secretly being studied right now in this top secret location? Have UFO believers lost their minds? Or have they discovered the truth? We're going on a tour of America's UFO hotspots. And who knows what we might find today on Truth or Scare. Throughout history, people have wondered if there are other beings in the universe. First it was demons, then ghosts. In the 20th century, our fascination focused on aliens. In 1938, many people thought Orson Welles' radio broadcast of War of the Worlds was a real news bulletin reporting an alien invasion of planet Earth. At first, people were terrified, but the panic didn't last long. Obviously, aliens could never really come here. At least not for another 9 years. Back in 1947, Roswell, New Mexico was just your average, sleepy desert town. But on a rainy 4th of July night, Roswell woke up. With a bang. People all over town heard a loud explosion. Most of them thought, probably just some thunder. But a rancher named Mac Brazel thought it sounded like something else. The next morning, when he headed out to check on his cattle, he found out he was right. Metal debris, which looked strangely like simple tinfoil, was everywhere. It looked like some kind of rocket or airplane had crashed. But what? Just a few miles away was Roswell Air Force Base. Had one of their planes gone down on Mac's ranch? He took some of the metal into Roswell to show the sheriff. The sheriff had no idea what it was. He checked to find out if any planes had been reported down that night. None had. The next stop, Roswell Air Force Base. But there were no answers there either. The U.S. Air Force said they'd never seen this kind of metal before. Reports say that the fragments had these weird designs on them, a lot like Egyptian hieroglyphics. Witnesses claimed you could just crumple the metal like aluminum foil. Even stranger, they claimed the metal would uncrumple and go back to its original shape. Have you ever seen aluminum foil do this? Could that strange metal have actually come from an alien spaceship? Up till then, UFOs had only been found in science fiction books, magazines, and movies. Unidentified flying objects are Ted Lohman's specialty. As a UFO investigator, he believes the Air Force didn't know what to think.
We have to remember, it was 1947 and World War II had just ended. They didn't know if it was people from other countries flying in here to harm us. I don't believe that they understand exactly what they found in that desert.
But they did understand. It was top secret. The Air Force immediately closed Mac Brazel's ranch to the public. Rumors were flying all over Roswell about what Mac had found. But soon, the Air Force believed it had discovered the truth. And it was Lieutenant Walter Haut's job to get that truth out. Walter was a public relations officer for the base. A few days after the bizarre crash, his commander called him into his office.
And he said, Hart, I want you to put out a press release to the effect that we have in our possession a flying saucer. I said, can I see it, Colonel? And his face just dropped a little bit, and he said, no.
Walter released the statement to the local newspaper and radio station. But this story wouldn't be local for long.
Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found on a ranch outside Roswell. The Roswell Air Base refuses to give details of what the flying disc looks like.
This was long before cable TV and the internet, but the news spread like wildfire all over the planet. Just think about it. For the first time in history, a government was claiming to have proof, real evidence of a UFO. For some, this was all the evidence they needed. Aliens from another galaxy were out there, and they were headed for Earth. Overnight, people got hysterical. The same question was on everyone's mind. Who or what was flying it? If it were true, where were the aliens coming from? And were they coming for us? Coming up, the Air Force changes its story, but the mystery of Roswell refuses to go away. Next, on Truth or Scare. Imagine if a flying saucer crashed in your town today. Would you be intrigued, scared, or both?
Both,
In
probably.
1947, when the U.S. military announced they'd found a spaceship in Roswell, some people got very nervous, while others simply wanted to know the truth. If the debris in Roswell truly was from a UFO, where did this thing come from? But instead of giving answers, the military changed their story. Suddenly, the official military statement claimed that it was just a weather balloon that had crashed at Roswell. It appeared aliens weren't invading, so everyone could relax. Or could they? Some people were still suspicious. They said the Air Force had to lie about the flying saucer because people were panicking. A few even wondered if there were aliens on board. Perhaps they had escaped. Were they living right here with us, disguised as people? But the military stuck to its new weather balloon story, which only made people that much more intent on finding a real alien spacecraft. After that rainy night in July, claims of UFO and alien sightings started coming in. From pilots, policemen, even military officers. Did they all just have flying saucers on the brain after Roswell? Or had they really seen something? Some Roswell residents say that a few days after the crash, alien bodies were brought to the Ballard Funeral Home. Still others claim they were shipped to a secret military base, where they were studied.
Documentary was
Roswell
reformatted.
historian
I'm
Dennis
genuinely
Balthauser believes it
curious.
all adds up. Well, to something.
There have been numerous reports of anywhere from 3 to 5 beings, possibility of one still alive when they got to the crash site. Something of extreme importance happened near Roswell in 1947.
Or was it all really just a case of mistaken identity? In 1997, with people still asking questions, the military said it again. The metal found on Mac Brazel's ranch was from a crashed weather balloon. And the alien bodies? The Air Force claimed they were crash dummies, dropped from an airplane during a test. Sounds logical, but many people, like Ted Lohman, still wonder, what did crash in Roswell on that rainy night in 1947?
What exactly happened, we don't know for sure. For 57 years, researchers, individuals, children, they go to this little town in Roswell to find out answers.
The UFO Museum, right in the middle of downtown Roswell, is a good place to start looking. And even though there aren't any actual aliens hanging out here, you might just run into the guy who started the whole Roswell craze. Walter Haut has never changed his story of how he put out that first Air Force press release back in 1947. And what does he think about all the strange claims that have come out since then?
Well, let me put it this way. I put out a press release to the effect that we have in our possession a flying saucer. From that, people started adding to it, and all of a sudden we had a bunch of aliens on board the ship, and it just grew and grew and grew.
And since then, it's kept on growing. The International UFO Museum is only one place to study aliens. Today, Roswell is World UFO Headquarters. Some visitors might be hoping that the town gets visited by another flying saucer. Some say it will never happen. But nearly half of all Americans believe there is intelligent life in the universe. Tom McDonough is a scientist, and scientists demand proof. Does he think aliens could have actually crashed that night in Roswell?
I can't be absolutely certain that there wasn't a flying saucer that crashed there. It's just that I look for evidence of some kind of alien technology.
And according to Tom, that evidence has never been discovered at any UFO site, including Roswell. Others have claimed that technology obtained from the Roswell crash site led to inventions like fiber optics and microprocessors, which we use in our everyday lives. Is there evidence to this theory that's being kept secret? See where some say the military keeps its darkest secrets. Find out next on Truth or Scare. If a spacecraft did crash back in 1947, then someone or something must have been flying it, right? And where are they now? Some say the alien visitors were taken to a secret government lab called Area 51. What does the government say? That Area 51 doesn't even exist. Let's take a trip to the Nevada desert and hit the brakes in the tiny town of Rachel. Population, less than 100. Just over these hills, some of Rachel's residents work here. So even though the government says Area 51 doesn't officially exist, that didn't stop them from putting up a few signs to let you know that it does. But they also put up this gate that sends a very clear message: keep out. What are they hiding? Some say this is where the military tests out its top secret experimental aircraft. But some, like Ken Storch, believe the top secret work here is all about aliens. Ken's a police officer in Colorado and a true believer in visitors from other worlds.
We are here in Rachel, Nevada, and right over there is Area 51, probably one of the most secret, sensitive installations on the planet. I think that debris from the Roswell crash was probably brought here, analyzed, trying to see what made it tick, and a lot of the debris is probably still on that base.
Ken claims to have witnessed a UFO incident when he was in the Air Force. Then, he says, he was ordered to never discuss it. Ever since then, Ken has been on a mission to uncover the truth. Were those unidentified flying objects designed by the US military here on Earth? Or were they from outer space? That's why Ken is here. He's hoping he can solve the mystery, once and for all. Easier said than done, because there's no way Ken, or anyone, is getting past that gate. But believers claim there's plenty to see on the outside, too. Dave Esofin claims he knows that the military is testing super-secret aircraft here, like the stealth fighter, and that some of those are probably mistaken for alien spacecraft. But believers like Dave say there's just a little too much going on in the skies over Rachel.
This is one of the UFO hotspots. Come right here to Rachel, and you'll have a good chance of seeing something. You know, I've seen it before, but not quite like this. This topped them all, man.
Like most people who live here, Connie West says she's seen more UFOs than she can count.
There's a lot of things in our sky around here that are unexplainable. You know, masses of lights that move. They cover the moon.
When she's not watching the skies, Connie runs a local eatery, the Little A-Lee Inn. Little alien, get it? If you're in the market for something alien, this is the place for you. And even if you don't have a real close encounter, you can always tell people that you saw a flying saucer.
What we have here is a classic design of a flying saucer. And this is based upon from some of the photographs and actual videos taken of an unidentified flying object. And as you can see, it's a smooth metal, which helps it aerodynamically to fly in any direction that it chooses to go, up, down, sideways. And if all we need is an engine, and maybe we can get this puppy to fly.
But as fun as it is to hang out at the Little A-Lee Inn, everyone knows that what goes on over the hills in Area 51 is serious business. And it doesn't get more serious than government secrets. Find out what happens when our UFO investigation tries to enter the most top-secret base in the country. Next on Truth or Scare. Ever been inside Area 51?
No.
Chances are the answer is no.
Yeah.
The U.S. government makes sure that no one gets in there without top-secret security clearance. But some UFO hunters are determined to find out what's inside Area 51, even if they have to take the ultimate risk. Ken Storch will not be denied. After decades of researching the Roswell crash, he's fed up with the excuses from the military. Today, he's heading for the gates of Area 51. No matter what the cost.
I have been investigating the UFO phenomena for over 30 years and talked to enough credible people that leads me to believe, as an investigator, there is a possibility they're here.
But how's he ever going to get past security to prove his theory? Officer Storch has been doing some detective work. See, there's this hidden entrance he found on a deserted dirt road. Just one problem. He's so close to the security zone, he could get arrested for trespassing, or worse. That's not gonna stop Ken, though. He's driven by a burning curiosity. Ken's pushing his investigation right up to the edge.
The government likes to protect its secrets. If you go up there, you will see the signs that says that they'll use whatever force necessary to keep you and I off the base.
Uh-oh, where'd that truck come from?
It's a safe bet that with Area 51, one of the more secure sites in the world, as you can see, they are going into the gate, and we're probably being watched and filmed ourselves as we speak.
That's enough to make even a tough cop like Ken a little edgy.
I have to admit, I'm a little nervous standing here because when that vehicle went by, they were probably watching us as we were watching them. And it is anybody's guess what could happen if you were to push the envelope or the issue concerning the secrecy surrounding that base.
Looks like Ken's thinking it might be time to go. Now.
You know, I think we've probably overstayed our welcome here, and I think it's a good idea if we just go ahead and pack up and move on. This has been real interesting, but this has made me really nervous, and I think it's time that we go ahead and vamoose and get out of here.
While Ken got close to Area 51, he didn't come away with any more answers to the mystery that has been driving investigators like him for nearly half a century. But experts like astrophysicist Tom McDonough still say there's no mystery at all. The UFOs seen around Rachel, Nevada aren't alien, but out of this world types of top secret aircraft.
What's really going on at Area 51 is real military experiments with real secret aircraft. The United States is developing remotely piloted vehicles that don't have human beings in them. So it's not surprising that every now and then people who live near Area 51 see weird things in the sky.
If Tom is right, then people are seeing UFOs, but they're made right here on Earth. No little green men needed. But for Ken and all the other believers, there are still too many questions and too much secrecy. They won't be satisfied until they see what's inside Area 51 for themselves. So what do you think? For over 50 years, people have been speculating that aliens might have landed in New Mexico. Here's what's not speculation. Something did crash in the desert in 1947, and Area 51 is a real place. Could it be the final resting place of alien astronauts? Or a secret base where the most advanced military aircraft are tested? If the government won't reveal the answers, we might have to start looking for the truth somewhere else.
Well, that's it for Truth or Scare commentaries. What will I do commentaries on next? I don't know. Might take a couple of days to figure it out. I'm Brian Croydregan signing out. Stay straight.